Hello, everyone. My name is Nathan Fernandez from Kicking It with Y9, and welcome to the Barn Burner TV network on ZingoTV channel 250. Please remember to download both the Barn Burner and ZingoTV apps in their respective iOS and Android app stores. While you download, please make sure to rate and leave a comment, and remember both apps are free. Zingo TV is also available on Google Chromecast, Amazon Fire TV sticks, Roku, and Roku sticks, and on all smart TVs 2016 and forward. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Nathan Fernandez, and welcome to another edition of Kicking It with Y9. Now after the news that's come up this week, I think we might have to change the name of this show because,
I was gonna
ladies and
say,
gentlemen, I was right. Vivian was right. York 9 has rebranded. Vivian, welcome to the show. How's your week been, man?
yeah, you're correct. I think we need to change the kicking it with YU. York United. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So the club rebranded this week. There was that big announcement on Friday. Oh, stay tuned. We're gonna make some big noise. We're picking up on the hints where there was a color change in the announcement. There was slowly indication that this club was going to go through a rebrand. We knew that their marketing was a huge problem through the past 2 years, and we knew that a lot of money was spent. So obviously the management has looked at it and thought that, yes, we need to do a rebrand. And I'm going to try and share my screen here so I can show everyone what our new rebrand looks like. And there it is. That is York United. First of all, look at that badge and that kit that stands out here. Let's go here. York United Football Club unveils brand new identity. So there it is, Vivian, the brand new York 9 or York United badge. First of all, they've changed the shape of the logo. They've changed the color scheme of the logo. They've taken out the number and they've put this massive YU in the middle. What do you think of it, first of all? When you first saw this badge, what do you think?
For people that have acquired taste and everything, they did show a 3D image of it, which many people were like, "Damn," and all that. But if a real football purist was actually looking at it, they're gonna think it's like a B Tech Valencia logo in it with the crown on top that reminds them of Real Madrid. And though, and to be fair, like I think acquired people would think like, "Oh, it looks great," and everything. Other people would have that opinion of it, but you gotta ask yourself: Is it like could you have really have put this logo, maybe put like a Y9? It would look good either way, but instead, no, they're like, you know what, we're going to change the name and everything to York United. And their whole premise of it, obviously, which I think we'll be talking about more in detail later, is of course like they want to appeal to people outside the region.
Mm-hmm.
But what's the point of appealing to people outside the region first? Well, first of all, you should establish the core group around you in the beginning, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so basically they showed this badge, and like you said before, it's kind of like a whole B Tech Valencia kit. You have the crest here, you got the crown on the top. When they started making this announcement, they used the trillium as a real like marketing piece. And if you look at the badge, you can barely tell that there is a trillium in there, right in the crown. From far away, it probably looks like I don't know, like a birthmark or a little defect scratch. But there is a trillium in there. And I think for me, the biggest thing is like we've changed the colors. So here you can see that York United Football Club, formerly York 9 FC, launched his new designed identity on Friday afternoon in a virtual unveiling event with Mike Baldessera, the president, chairman, general manager Angus McNabb, David Clanican, and James Sharman. So here again, primary crest, secondary marks here. So the new colors of the team are going to be York green, Lake Ontario blue, Trillium white, and Victory gold. First of all, I'm so confused by that Victory gold because we haven't won anything. We've never been victorious. Lake Ontario blue. Where is York region? I don't know, maybe my map is wrong or my geography is wrong, but is York anywhere close to Lake Ontario or like a piece of water?
I wouldn't think so.
I
wouldn't
don't
believe
think
so.
so either because you have downtown that's sitting on the lakefront and the lake goes. I don't really think there's no spot in York that actually touches a Lake Ontario. So
Right.
Lake Ontario blue, York green. They've obviously gone with a much duller green here. Let's look at sort of the features of the crest here, Trillium. So York and Toronto have always been the capital. Everyone knows about the flower that grows here, the Trillium flower. Lake Ontario, they talked about the rivers and waterways and blood in its veins. York sits atop the Great Lake of Ontario. I don't know if that's true. Here, the Shield, inspired by Queen's York Rangers, the regiment working in unison to serve both the city and the region. The crown at the core of Canada, a royal history, powerful across our country. The crown is a dominant emblem, blah, blah, blah. York United, and then the nine stripes.
Which I said before, that they want to appeal to people, I think, across the world more so than within their own community, which I find very weird, because when you look at every club that has been made in the beginning, they always try to appeal to their own country first. And then people, of course, broadcasting everything does help. They do attract to their certain culture. It's not the other way around when you think about it, right? You don't try to appeal for other people around the world. You try to make your brand really good, so then people are attracted to your own club culture. So it's
Yeah.
very
Of course, yeah. And then like here, what I find funny is here the nine stripes. So they say they'll always be the nine stripes. So when you first look at this logo, you'll think like, okay, there are five stripes on a background of blue. But I guess what they're trying to say is each stripe, like this one, this one, this one here, like green, blue, they're all together. They make nine stripes. So it's five
yeah.
green,
So
four blue.
mhm.
But what confuses me is tomorrow Atletico Ottawa could turn around and say that they have nine stripes as well on their logo, or I don't know, six or seven stripes. This, like, you can clearly see, like Vivian, like you said before, that this is now not a team that is catered to local fans, not a team that's trying to build its identity from a local group. They're trying to market themselves to be a club, a worldwide club. You obviously have your famous Manchester United, your Leeds United. That's probably, to be honest with you, I think that's where York got this United thing from, because everyone knows in the past few years, the York region and York Nine, they never felt united by this club. This club never really made an effort other than saying that, oh, these nine stripes stand for the nine cities in the region. There was never a real effort to work with the community and work with the local people to try and unite, I guess, football fans in the region. And it's really weird here. So here you can say Angus McNabb's statement is a huge, exciting day, not just for us, but for Canadian soccer in general. He goes on here to talk about how there's a connective issue that binds York, Toronto, and the GTA. And I guess what they were trying to do is kind of bring Toronto, York, and the rest of the GTA all together. That is, I see a huge problem in there, is because Toronto already has Toronto FC. They don't really care about any other club other than Toronto FC, because Toronto FC plays in downtown Toronto. They're not thinking about a York United, which is so far away. It's like an hour subway ride to get from Union Station all the way to York University, where York United plays. Um, and then same thing with the GTA. There are going to be more clubs that come up in the GTA. I didn't think that this club needs to market themselves to everyone in the GTA. Here's their alternate mark with the skyline. Vivian, what do you think about this? Because I think this is really controversial, including the CN Tower and the Rogers Center in your logo when you don't even play in the downtown core.
That's another thing as well. That's quite funny actually. Because first and foremost, it's about York region. They're trying to integrate themselves into like the Toronto community as well. Like that doesn't make sense. They do give like what is it, importance to the army and everything, but what does the army have to wait? Can you go up on top for a little bit, like scroll up top for a bit? They
Yeah.
also give like inspiration with the army and everything, but when have they ever done that with the actual like logo at the start and everything? Is just to add in a little bit of like culture in it, for example, right?
Hmm.
It's very very particular, and they're just maybe trying to look over the top and trying to be more than they are right now at the moment, right?
Yeah.
Especially
And
the season as well. It's like a whole like rehashing season, as if like the thing is as well, right? And I think a lot of fans need to realize it's just like majority of fans are going to be coming in. They're quite new. They're like, oh wow, I'm interested in this club and everything, right? But a lot of people who have been supporting them for 2 years are absolutely just like, over the top, and they know that it's going to be just a complete rehash. It's going to be many changes, and they're not pretty much going to compete this season.
Hmm. Yeah, and then same thing with their marketing. I think I really want to point out this paragraph here. So they talk about whatever. They say the announcement of the rebrand was accompanied by York United's new campaign video, United by You. And then it says here, with narration by well-known Canadian actor Jay Baruchel, directed by Montreal cinematographer Mark Lamy. So first of all, they didn't even get any announcer or actors from the York region itself. I like how they use Canadian actor here for Jay Baruchel. People are forgetting that Jay Baruchel is from Quebec. He's from Montreal. He supports the Montreal Canadiens. He doesn't support Toronto teams. So, and you best believe that if a CPL team is going to come in the Montreal area or Quebec area, Jay Baruchel is going to be supporting that club. Directed by Montreal cinematographer Mark Lamy. You're telling me York and the York management were not able to find cinematographers in the York region or in Toronto? That's just absurd because that goes against all of their whatever they're saying here because they talk about how they want to work with the community, but it just goes to show that they're not making any effort to do that.
And I just want to keep in mind as well, the York region as a whole has 1 million people. And
Yeah.
that is pretty much, you look at the city of Toronto as well, we have probably the most populated area around Ontario, and you can't tell me that that is just.
That to me that is really just crazy because yeah, sure, they're Jay Bear. You know where I think it comes from? So what people don't know is Jay Baruchel is probably a good friend of Owen O'Callahan, and Owen O'Callahan works with York United or York Nine as one of their director of content. So I think that's where that came from. But I didn't see the need to go and hire a Montreal cinematographer. There are so many great cinematographers and videographers in Toronto, and I think it would be so much better to get someone to local to kind of build your brand. Get a local actor or a local person. You look at the Toronto Raptors and what they've done with Drake, having Drake beside them. Drake
Uh,
is from Toronto, and Drake has helped build the Toronto Raptors brand because it's just people love to see when a local fan or a local celebrity helps out their local club.
yeah, but I just want to say as well that you say about Toronto's not pretty much at York. People at York are Markham. People at
Yeah,
York is Vogue. People at York is like within the York region. You got to remember that, right? So I think
yeah,
correct. Just take away Toronto, but get someone from around the York area to. I know there's not maybe like so-called notable people. I'm pretty sure there are notable people, or at least people that at least care about the club, that wants to ambassador, right? Not someone
mhm.
from like Montreal that's like a filmographer and comes in. It's like, oh, I don't really care about the club. I'm just gonna endorse it and everything, right? And that's the thing. We want people that genuinely care to kind of like be like the face of it.
Yeah, of course. Like the same thing. You're playing off York University. You're telling me there was no students or student group that could do this brand video for you? That would be perfect. Having a club that plays in the York University itself, showing them working with the university to kind of build their own projects. But obviously, they didn't do that. Obviously, next thing we're going to look at here is the reveal of their new Macron 2021 home jersey. And here it is, the new colors, the Victory Gold, Lake Ontario Blue, and York Green. Vivian, what do you think of this kit?
I mean, to be honest, it'll probably grow on me, but as of now, like I see it, it looks like a generic um, kit per se and everything. Some people will particularly like it. Some people would be like, nah, this ain't it. Especially if they have supported York Nine for like the past 2 years and everything. And now they're switching it to York United. Um, yeah, I like I said, it might grow on me, but we'll see this season.
Yeah. So when I look at this kit, I want to talk about it from, so myself, I work in a creative field, and I do some designing here and there, and I want to talk about the design elements of this kit. So when you think of famous kits that have stripes, you think of your Atletico Madrids or your even Borussia Dortmund, for example. They have striped kits here and there. What is it with their color scheme is they pick two colors that are so different from each other. There's a lot of contrast to help them stand out. So, for example, Atletico Madrid, they have the famous red and white stripes. That red and white really pop as a kit and pop as a visual piece to really look at the designs of the kit. Borussia Dortmund, yellow and black, two colors on the opposite ends of the scale, of the color scale. That kit pops. This kit is so dull and so like I can't even put it into words. They picked a dark green with a dark blue and a dull gold. It's not. There are no colors in this jersey that stand out to me. It literally looks like I hate to say it, but it does look like a mess from a design perspective because there's nothing that stands out. Even the badge doesn't stand out from the kit. What do you look at when you look at famous kits? Okay, let's use Barcelona for example. Barcelona using red and blue as their stripes. Again, red and blue are so different from each other that it works, and their badge has a bit of yellow in it, has a bit of gold in it, so that badge can stand out against those stripes. This is just I don't know. Maybe I'm just like really upset, but I don't like it.
I mean, I can see what you're saying as well. Maybe like one of those kits when you look at the kit for the first time, you're like, oh, it's absolutely horrible. I remember with the Liverpool kits, I particularly didn't like it as well. Once you buy it and everything, you're like, you know what, I'll just grow into it and everything, right? But I can totally see in a design perspective, it's not like, especially if it's like not gonna work out because once again, like it may look good now, but then in a couple of years, you're gonna look back and you're like, yeah, this was a messy era per se, right? Because it's popping now, but like in the future, it's not gonna hold up, if you know what I mean. And there's a lot of
Personally,
kids.
yeah. Personally, what I would have done is like maybe make the kit blue and white, have those as white stripes, and then do like a green collar or like a green a cuff rim or something like that. Just so you can implement all the colors. To me, that like even Crystal Palace, another team with striped kits, they can make a better kit than this, have a better kit than this one. And here you look at the back, they haven't even included the stripes on the back of the jersey. Most famous jerseys that have stripes, they include the stripes on the front and the back to show some unity, some continuity. But here we have a plain blue black background, and here at the bottom they've gone with the same thing they did last year. Keep a little message, the 9 stripes. To me, that's just a slap in the face to supporters groups, to people like Generation 9 who've built their brand off, who've built their entire groups off the York 9 branding, off the York 9 name. To have this like in a dark, even darker blue off on the back of a navy blue, who is going to be able to tell that? What as someone who supported York 9, maybe you can speak for some of these supporters groups. How does that make you feel that a club has just kind of written off all the work you've done in the past few years to
Oh,
go and do this?
I think people are disappointed. I mean, you can look at like the mixed emotions. Like, of course, you're gonna have some people that are absolutely for it and everything, and they're like, oh, this and that. But the idea of a club and everything is you need to hold certain traditions and everything, right? And if you
Mhm.
change the identity of a club, even for a long time, people will be disappointed, especially if it doesn't like find fruits for the labors. You look at examples like for Arsenal, right? They moved from Highbury, which was a legendary stadium for them. They won many things to go to the Emirates and everything, right? And
Mhm.
now you see a lot of like at the time people said like, oh, maybe it's like for better things and everything. Now everybody's like, I wish we went back and all this and everything. Like the same thing for here. You look at this and everybody, as much as everybody was confused at the beginning, people started to agree that yes, this should be our identity and everything, right?
Mhm.
And now, like with the whole thing, especially last season, where it's like, you know, they massively underperformed. Now they're, what is it? They're coming back here and they're like, okay, no, you pretty much want to strip away that season where you were super ambitious and now you want to start all over again as if it's like a new club and everything. And that's what
Yeah.
people are going to think of it. They're going to think of it as a new club. They're not going to think of it as the past 2 years. They're going to think like, oh, it's a new club. We're just starting and all that. Well, no, we do have history.
Yeah, of course. And I also want to point out here. So you look at here the York United launch collection. So here they have a hoodie here, um, like another hat here, like a t-shirt here. And personally, like I know it's a new era, but there's no real effort into designing a collection and designing things that people would wear. You look at this scarf and it's so plain. You have the tiny logo in the corner here, and then you have these blue and green stripes. Is that a football scarf? To me, doesn't look like a football scarf. Vivian, what do you think? Does that look like a football club scarf?
I mean, I wish I had. I don't have my scarf right now, but I mean, like, yeah, I mean that doesn't inspire anybody to be honest, especially for a club lunch and everything. You want it more like it pops out and everything. Even like you look at the sweater, just like in the middle of the York, maybe a little bit more design and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, the hats I guess are okay to be honest. I'm not gonna say the hats are particularly bad and everything. I mean, we can do more with the hat, but yeah, I think the scarf. I think definitely with the merch and everything, and it really comes down to the design of what you're gonna build around it and everything.
Mhm.
And I do agree with a lot of what you're saying about the designs and everything with it. But once again, it's not about like for a lot of fans who have been supporting it, it's not about the design and everything. It's about keeping certain things and certain traditions and everything, right? And hopefully we can talk more about like how maybe some people felt about it before and how other people see it another way, because I think that as a topic as well, I think it should go on a little bit more and like a huge discussion. I know we only have 30 minutes, which kind of sucks, but
Yeah.
hopefully we can talk more about this in the next show and everything. And yeah, that's just a lot more.
Yeah,
Uh,
there
and of course, we have like this whole thing to dissect as well. But how many minutes do we have left?
Yeah, we have very little time left actually, maybe less than 5 minutes, 2 minutes left. But I like Vivian said, this is probably something we're gonna talk about in the next show and the next show to come because there's so much to delve into here. Like even this article, I think I'm gonna go through very quickly.
Hmm.
Here, it's just the reaction to sort of the people, the news that are picking it up. So you have the Globe and Mail, Sports Center, TSN, SB Nation. And I guess York Nine, they went around and tried to get some quotes and see what people were saying. And I want to pick out the fact that they picked out people that have to be political, people that have big brands, people that have to say something good. They're not gonna go out and select, I don't know, maybe a Dwayne Rollins who does like to voice his opinion sometimes, which may not suit or like appease the management. So here I want to pick out Grant Russell. He said he loved it so much and declaring his appreciation for distinctive colors and crest. In Leeds, someone from Leeds, their Opta performed the rebrand is smart, well thought out, and well executed. Luke Wildman and Christian Jack both work for TSN as broadcasters for Toronto FC. He loved the new. Wildman said he loved the new identity. KJ was taken by the United by You video too. Carmelina Moscato works for a soccer icon, works for One Soccer. Steve Dangle um, works for Sports Center and TSN here and there. AFL, Cody Royal, they all shared saying that they like it, that they love this rebrand. And what I find interesting is that I know York management, they're never going to go out and ask the fans. They're not going to ask people who actually did share some criticism. That's what I feel football and football fans and football teams miss. There's that they don't bridge that gap with with I guess fans here. They don't listen to the opinions of fans. They don't listen to what people have to say, and that can really affect relationship between fans. So Vivian, we have very little we're almost done with the show now. We will definitely get into this next week again. I want to
For
hear more of
sure.
your thoughts.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, we have run out of time now. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for listening to the show. Vivian, thank you for joining us once again. This show can be heard on the Barnburner Radio Network on all of its 122 platforms. Please check us out at barnburner.ca for all the sports news. Barnburner, watch it, hear it, read it, download it, and live it.